Tears to Cheers, the Celebration Series, Book 2. Written by Stacy Eaton. Narrated by Yvonne Cood.
The sound of soft footsteps caught my attention, and I turned back to the door, expecting to see Lorna enter with my water. Instead, a young girl in a white and red striped dress stood at the door, holding a bouquet of red and white flowers.
I'm sorry to disturb you, but would you like some flowers in here?
I stared at the girl as she took a step into the room. Her hair was long, but pulled back into a ponytail at the back of her neck. The bouquet of flowers covered much of her facial features, but I could see her eyes were a light color. I cleared my dry throat again. Don't they belong to someone else? No chance in hell anyone had sent me flowers. The girl smiled. At least I think she smiled. Her eyes crinkled over the blooms, but the greenery covered her lower face.
Actually, they belong to Mrs. Kirkland 2 doors down, but she has so many flowers in her room, she says it looks more like a wake than a hospital room. She told me to give them away to someone who doesn't have any.
The girl glanced around the room.
Looks like your room could use some holiday color.
I tried to laugh, but caught myself when the first strike of pain pierced my chest and the left side of my face. I guess I could use some color.
Great!
The young girl took her time placing the flowers on the side table so I could see them, but so they wouldn't be in the way of anything.
I'm surprised you don't have more flowers. I know you have been here for a while. In fact...
She hesitated for a moment.
I don't think I have seen anyone even come visit you.
She was turning to face me when Lorna stepped back into the room.
Hi, Megan. How are you? Hi, Lorna. I'm good. Delivering my flowers before I head down and have dinner with Mom. She's working tonight?
Lorna asked as she poured my water.
Yeah, but she gets off at midnight. I told her I would crash in the lounge until she gets off and we can go home and celebrate Christmas after work, so we could both sleep in tomorrow before we go to Grandpa's for dinner.
Lorna laughed.
That sounds like a great idea.
She moved the tray over to me and began to push a button on the side of the bed to raise it. The young girl she had called Megan stood behind her, quietly watching.
So, what are you hoping to get for Christmas?
Lorna asked Megan over her shoulder.
I'm hoping Mom got me horseback riding lessons, but I'm not sure she can afford them right now, not with my second set of braces going on in a few weeks. It doesn't matter, though. I'd just be happy to have some quiet time with Mom for a few days. Family is what's important, right?
I stared at the girl. I guessed her age to be around 12 or 13, yet she spoke like a little adult. What kid thought it was more important to have family around than toys and other expensive gifts? Just as Lorna got the bed up, a series of alarms began to go off in the hallway.
Darn it, Mr. Dugan. I'll be right back.
Lorna put the cup of water just out of my reach and hustled out of the room, while Megan and I both watched her leave. I looked back at the water cup. The bendable straw with a single drip of water on the edge had never looked so good. Damn.
Mr. Dugan?
Megan stepped closer.
Can I help you with that?
I shifted my eyes back to the young girl. Megan, is it? She nodded as she stepped closer. Megan, if you help me with that cup of water, I'll make sure you have those horseback riding lessons. I was so desperate for the cool wetness that I would have promised the kid anything for a drink. She giggled and waved my comment away.
You don't need to do that. It's my job to help people.
She reached the side of the bed and picked up the cup. It wasn't until she turned toward me that I finally got a good look at her face, and the breath caught in my throat. She looked like a miniature Linda, only her hair had a touch more red and her eyes were a seafoam green, like mine.
Here you are.
She held the cup out and positioned the straw toward my mouth, but I was frozen. When I didn't open my lips, she lifted her focus from my mouth to my eyes and grinned.
Your eyes are the same color as mine.
She laughed and leaned a little closer.
I've never met anyone who has the same color eyes as me.
The only other person I knew with the same shade of green eyes had been my mother. I opened my mouth and let her move the straw until it touched my bottom lip. I sucked gently, and would have moaned my happiness at finally quenching my thirst, but I was fascinated with the young lady who looked like Linda, but had my eyes. Was it possible? I felt my heart beating faster as I considered it. After 3 long pulls on the straw, I pulled my head back and looked at her. Megan, how old are you?
13. Why?
13. No way. There was no way. Or was there? Megan. I swallowed, afraid to ask, but even more scared to not know the truth. What's your mom's name? Megan was about to answer when another voice rang loud and clear through the room.
Megan, what are you doing in this room?
Megan and I both startled and turned our attention to the door to find a very shocked and scared-looking Linda.